She traveled to the world of jinns.
This is the story of Fatima, a young chef full of life, until one September night when everything changed. It started with an illness, a simple fever, but when the doctors couldn't find anything wrong and the medicines did nothing, that's when the nightmare began. The fever wouldn't go away. Every meal made her vomit, and she would experience a stabbing pain in her lower back. Days passed and she got weaker. Then on her third night in the hospital, that's when it happened. She saw it, a towering black shadow creeping towards her. She was frozen. Sleep paralysis had gripped her body. Unable to move or cry for help, she felt a cold hand stroking her forehead. A touch so chilling it felt like death itself. She tried to scream, but nothing came out. For 10 minutes she laid there with her eyes shut, waiting for it all to end. And then, just as suddenly, that thing was gone. But the true horror was just beginning. Even after Fatima was discharged from the hospital, she wasn't okay. She chose not to tell her mother anything about the shadow she had seen that night. She still felt sick, empty. Something wasn't right. But she convinced herself maybe it was just an entity at the hospital, and whatever was there would stay there. But she was wrong. So wrong. Her sadness deepened. The loneliness became unbearable. Something was wrong. Something was inside her. A co-worker urged her to visit an alim. She hesitated, but finally agreed. But the moment she stepped inside the alim space, something else took over. She laughed hysterically and cried at the same time, as if something was fighting to stay in control of her body. Then she blacked out. She didn't remember a thing that happened. After that day, whenever she tried to sleep, she felt like something took over her body. And soon, she finally met him. She met the jinn named Shaheryar. At first, he spoke gently. He told her things, showed her love. But how could that be? How could a jinn fall in love with a human? It just felt so unreal. Shaheryar often possessed Fatima's body, but her mother and sister noticed something strange. Unlike other possessions you see in movies, he never hurt her. In fact, he would speak through her, telling her family, "I need her to help me. Please don't remove me until I get the help that I need from her." Everyone in the house was confused and terrified, but curious on how Fatima could be of help to a jinn. One night, through possession, Shaheryar spoke and revealed the truth to the alim. He said, "I have been following her for 2 years. One night I saw her distressed and miserable, crying alone in her room. So I possessed her to protect her from the other jinns who sought to enter her body and harm her. I love her, and I was protecting her from the evil jinns who are waiting for me to leave so they can hurt her. But Fatima, she has to stop certain actions because these actions are what attracts jinns to her." The alim didn't believe Shaheryar because of course he was a jinn. But to convince him, Shaheryar showed the alim a vision, which did indeed convince him that Shaheryar was speaking the truth. The alim then told Fatima, "Let him accompany you temporarily, as his intentions are true and he means you no harm." Shaheryar would then warn Fatima on things that attract his jinn kind towards her. He told her, "Do not listen to music as it draws jinns to you. Do not take long showers naked or spend too much time in the toilets. Never stay bare naked or change your clothes openly in your room. Do not play music while sitting in the toilet. It is a place where my jinn kind gather. And especially do not scroll through TikToks and Reels while in there, because that's filled with music. Do not watch yourself naked in the mirror. It invites the jinns closer. And never perfume yourself after Maghrib. It signals the jinns to be attracted to you." Fatima was now shaken. She had done all these things without realizing that they were making her so vulnerable. She decided to make a change and started praying more and more, becoming even more punctual with her salah. Fatima describes Shaheryar as sweet and gentle, kind with his words, and very loving. He would comfort her with his warm, protective presence and make her feel appreciated. In fact, he was keen on Islam. When Fatima would pray tahajjud, he would kneel beside her in the salah position and just say Ameen. But one night while Fatima laid in bed, she felt Shaheryar lay right next to her. She turned, and this time she saw Shaker in the form of a human, a handsome, tall, fit man with brown, shiny hair. He made a request. Please help me revert to Islam. I have spent 400 years doing wrong and living my life like hell, and now I am ready to take my Shahada. Fatima agreed and went to the alim. Over there, Shaker took over Fatima's body and spoke to the alim, and that's where he reverted to Islam. The alim then gave him a Muslim name, Hassan. In fact, this was recorded on camera.
सारे शयातीन जानते हैं पूरे बैंगलोर के शयातीन जानते हैं पूरे साउथ इंडिया के जानते हैं बोलो पूरे साउथ इंडिया के शयातीन मुझे जानते हैं
After this incident, one evening when Fatima was done praying Maghrib, she just sat there silently and she heard a voice. Assalamu alaikum, Fatima. Fatima was shocked. She didn't know what that was, but she heard it clearly. She couldn't see him, but she heard the voice crystal clear. Indeed, it was Hassan. He apologized, saying, I'm sorry for any pain I've caused while possessing you. I have now chosen the right path and I cannot linger around as before because it is haram. But before leaving, he gave Fatima a warning for the horrors that are yet to come. He said, I will leave, but be careful after I'm gone, because there are many others among the jinn kind who desire you, and they are far more evil. Fatima felt chills down her spine. Hassan was her guardian, and as twisted as it may be, he protected her and kept other things away. And now, she was about to find out what those other things were. After Hassan left, the silence was unbearable. Fatima thought she was free, but she didn't realize that something else had been waiting for Hassan to leave all along. And one night, she woke up paralyzed once again. The air felt thick, heavy, and then she saw it. Not a shadow, a figure with red burning eyes in the dark. This new presence was different, stronger, violent, and more possessive. It forced itself upon her, whispering threats into her ears and promising to unalive her and her entire family. Every time she would try reciting Ayat al-Kursi, her tongue would swell up. Every time she tried calling her mother for help, her voice would lock in her throat. She wasn't just being haunted, she was claimed. This was not Hassan. This was something far worse, far more sinister and evil. He was aggressive, territorial, possessive, and pure evil. He would choke her in her sleep, make his presence known, and appear in her pictures as shadowy figures. Fatima sent me this picture showing a large set of cloudy fingers resting on her shoulders as she took a selfie. He claimed to be a Muslim jinn in love with her, but Fatima knew he was a kafir jinn pretending to be a Muslim. It was all a lie. He would torture her with constant whispers, verbally abuse her, tell her she was worthless, that no one loves her except for him, and that nobody could ever love her like him. He promised her that he could give her anything she ever wanted, fulfill all of her wishes, but on one condition: that she marries him, and she leaves her world to come with him to his home in the world of jinns, and stay as his wife forever. One night, as Fatima was about to sleep, she grew frustrated of the whispers and she exclaimed, "Show me this home of yours that you keep talking about." And that's when she fell into a deep sleep immediately. She saw herself waking up in a royal palace, in a grand hall, but this palace had no lights, only fire lamps. The entire place was nasty, covered in spider webs, reeked of filth, and the air was thick with the smell of decay. When she went outside, she saw the skies were black, the doors were made of wood, and there was no greenery in sight. The trees were dead and dried up. A little boy stood outside and whispered, "Please stay here. If you don't, the jinn will kill me." Fatima refused and ran to find a way out. And that's when Aziz appeared. "Isn't this what you wanted?" he asked hysterically. The same jinn named Aziz continues to haunt Fatima to this day. He abuses her, takes advantage of her, and relentlessly pursues her, demanding that she marry him, that she becomes his wife forever, and that she leaves her world and enter his world of jinns. But Fatima continues to fight. She has accepted one truth, that no Raqi can save her, only Allah can. She has placed her trust in Allah alone. Every night she prays. Even when the entity tries to silence or suffocate her, she still prays. She doesn't seek exorcisms anymore. She doesn't beg scholars for help. She knows Allah is her only refuge. And so she endures. She has complete faith that this is just another test from Allah. And one day she will be free.